Hello everyone and welcome to my video for my favourite movies. So I'm going to tell you my 10 favourite movies, no particular order, and why I love them. So let's get cracking. Okay, so first up is Gladiator, the story of Maximus, a general who became a slave who became a gladiator who defied an emperor, bent on vengeance for the murder of his wife and son. I never even watched this the first time when it was in the cinema. I didn't watch it until I got it on DVD, and that was because it came free with a DVD player that I bought, and I've watched it so many times since because I was blown away by Ridley Scott's masterpiece. The one thing I will say though is I'm so glad I watched it then, because if I watched it now, I'd be put off by the film and not like it because of Russell Crowe's accent, which comes in and out. That would probably ruin it for me now. So they say love is blind, and I'm glad that I fell in love with this film when I did, because if I'd have watched it now, I maybe wouldn't have liked it as much. And I also love the beautiful score by Hans Zimmer. It's one of my favourite scores of all time, which I will get to in another video. So next up is the film Stand By Me. Now I know I said I wasn't doing this video in any particular order, but this is my absolute 100% favourite film of all time. It's a story based on the novel The Body by Stephen King, and it's about 4 kids who take a hike to find the corpse of a local teenager who was hit by a train. And the first time I saw this, it just stuck with me. I don't know why it stuck with me, but it stuck with me. I watched it on TV, and then I had to wait for what felt like forever for it to come back onto TV again so I could tape it and watch it a million times. It stars the late River Phoenix, Joaquin's brother, Will Wheaton, who you may remember from The Big Bang Theory or Star Trek, Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connell, Kiefer Sutherland, and they all give incredible performances. All I can say is I wish that I was their friend when I was 12 years old. But who wouldn't? Okay, next up on my list is Inception. I remember reading about Inception in a film magazine about a year before it came out. So it sounded so good that I went to go and see it on the opening day, and it did not disappoint. I was blown away, absolutely blown away. So much so that I went to see the film again 2 days later, and then again 2 days after that. It's a story of a professional thief who steals information by infiltrating the subconscious of his targets. There's such incredible performances from Leonardo DiCaprio, Ellen Page, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, like so good. And Christopher Nolan creates this epic, perplexing world on so many levels. 3, 4. And what about the ending? What about the ending? Should we talk about the ending? Because that is definitely up for discussion. The ending of Inception is definitely up for discussion. Next up on the list is another Nolan film. It's Interstellar. But like Gladiator, I never saw this at the cinema, and oh my god, I wish I did. I so wish I had gone to see it at the cinema. The closest I've got to seeing it in a cinema since then is I saw it in an apartment block's mini private cinema when I lived in Toronto. It's a story of the future on Earth when it's uninhabitable, and an ex-NASA pilot, played by Matthew McConaughey, sets off with a team into space on a mission to find planets that are habitable for the human race. The first time I saw this, it blew my mind in a frighteningly beautiful way. I've watched it so many times since, so many times. And the science behind it each time makes more and more sense. If you know, you know. I'll get to it when I do my favourite film scores video, but the score for Interstellar by Hans Zimmer is absolutely another reason why this film is on my list. Back over to Leo for the next film, and it's Catch Me If You Can. This is a story based on real life events of a con artist, Frank Abagnale, in the 1950s, who successfully performed cons worth millions of dollars. He forged checks, he faked being a Pan Am pilot, he faked being a doctor, he faked being a legal prosecutor. How we managed to do that when it's based on a real life story is ridiculous. How someone managed to pull it off in real life is stupid. It's also a story from the other side about the FBI agent who's chasing Frank. His name is Carl Hangretti and he's played by Tom Hanks. I've got to say, the chase element of this film is thrilling, and what happens is you end up at the same time as wanting Frank to succeed his cons and keep going and going and going, you want Carl to capture him. You want them both to succeed. Like, that's how clever it is, and that's probably down to the brilliant performances from Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's such a great film, and you know what? Look out for the scene, which is brilliant, where Frank is almost caught by Carl in France. Next up, we're sticking with Tom Hanks and the film Cast Away. Tom Hanks plays a FedEx executive who finds himself in a plane crash over the Pacific Ocean and winds up washing up on a deserted island as the sole survivor, apart from a few packages and stuff. What I really loved about this film is it really made me think, you know, would I be able to survive if I washed up on an island on my own? Would I? You know, I think we'd all like to think that we would. Oh, I could survive, yeah. But could we? Like, that really got me thinking. There's a huge chunk of the film where there's no dialogue, but like, don't be put off by that, because Tom Hanks carries this so well. And he also strikes a friendship up with a volleyball who he names Wilson. Wilson! I'm sorry! The heartbreak of when he eventually gets back home and he finds people thought he was dead for years. You know, like things like creating fire, getting food is also so easy now, and it wasn't before. I love my film scores, and what I find really clever about this is Alan Silvestri has no scoring until the very end. What that's supposed to do is echo Chuck's loneliness on the island, the fact that he's so removed from everything. It's such a clever way of doing the film scoring, and I absolutely love it. Back over to Leo again for my next film, which is Blood Diamond. This was one of the first films where it made me stand up and take notice of Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor. Not because he hadn't done anything good before. I've since gone back and seen his stuff, and yep, he's my favourite actor. But just because at the time I only really knew him as the heartthrob from Titanic. Anyway, Blood Diamond is a story set in Sierra Leone in the 90s about two men, a white South African mercenary played by DiCaprio and a fisherman played by Jaiman Hansu. It's about their quest to go and rescue the fisherman's son who's been kidnapped and turned into a child soldier, and also to find a rare gem that will transform both of their lives. This story touches on the brutal brutal African diamond trade, its human toll, and also the African militia creating child soldiers. It's a beautiful, beautiful story, and Leonardo DiCaprio and Djimon Hounsou both equally tug on your heartstrings, so it's really, really worth a watch. Okay, something a little bit more feel-good now, and the next film is Disney's Remember the Titans. It's a movie about the real-life integration of a Virginia high school American football team set in 1971. So Denzel Washington plays the sort of new black coach that comes in. He's taking over the team as head coach, and he has to win over his white players. He has to win over the white staff. He has to win over the white school board. You get the picture. But at the same time as bringing together the white and black players so that they can gel as a team and continue to be the successful football team that they are known as already. It's such a charming story. It's so good, and it's got some great performances. I mean, you really can't go wrong with Denzel Washington, can you? If you watch closely as well, you'll see some performances from a young Ryan Gosling. There he is. And also fans of Clueless or Scrubs will see Donald Faison in there. I have to say there's some brilliant performances from Wood Harris and Ryan Hurst. They're so good as their characters go from being sort of enemies or hating each other, if you will, to becoming best friends. If you want to watch a Disney feel-good film, I can't recommend this enough. It's such a good film, and you will feel good after it. So moving along the list now, the next film is Walk the Line. This is a biopic film about the singer Johnny Cash. He's played by Joaquin Phoenix. It's the story of Cash's sort of rise into becoming a music legend, his volatile lifestyle, and the love of his life, June Carter, who's played by Reese Witherspoon. I remember coming out of the cinema after this one and downloading sort of Johnny Cash Greatest Hits album because I loved the song so much, didn't really know much about it before. I also downloaded the film soundtrack to see how Reese Witherspoon and Joaquin Phoenix compared, you know, with their voices. And I've got to say, they did a great job. The performances from Reese Witherspoon and Joaquin Phoenix are great. They're so good. They both won Golden Globes for their performances, but only Reese won the Oscar. Only Reese won the Oscar. I'm so gutted that Joaquin Phoenix didn't win it that year. I believe it was Philip Seymour Hoffman who won the Best Actor Oscar for his role in Capote, which he was brilliant at, absolutely brilliant. But I still wish that Joaquin Phoenix had won the Oscar for Walk the Line. He got his Oscar in the end though, didn't he? So here we are on the final film of this list. It's Jurassic Park. As a 9-year-old kid, you know, I can still remember sitting down in that cinema waiting for that film to start. I was so excited, like, you know, especially after what felt like years and years of promo material and teaser trailers and stuff. I mean, I was 9 years old, so it probably wasn't that long, but it felt like it. I was so excited to watch that film. Like, you know, watching over and over again and being equally gripped on those TV spots. The scene with the water rippling in the cup, like, that's an iconic cinema moment now, you know. And every time I watched it, like I say, I was equally gripped. And then when I sat down and watched that film, I was not disappointed. I absolutely loved it. And even the moments that I'd seen on the promo and the teaser trailers and all that sort of stuff just seemed even better on that huge, huge screen. You know, and it has provided us with some iconic moments in cinema history, you know, with the T-Rex roar in the rain, all that sort of stuff. So, so good. I also have to say that, you know, I remember thinking of it as a kid, like how real it looked, you know, and it kind of terrified me and excited me in the same way. But those animatronics still hold up today, don't they? They really hold up. You think of, you know, we have CGI and stuff now and how far that's come, how good that can look now, you know, I'm sure it's going to get better and better, but those animatronics still hold up today. Go and watch Jurassic Park. So that's the end of the list, but before I go, I'm going to chuck in a couple more films quickly that I really, really like. So you've got Rocky IV. This is my favourite film of the Rocky franchise. Karate Kid, you know, what a great 80s film, and you know, you would spend hours afterwards replicating that famous kick on the couch cushions in your mum and dad's front room. Man on Fire, another great Denzel Washington film, also starring Dakota Fanning. Slumdog Millionaire, what a film, well done Danny Boyle. And also The Goonies, epic adventure, you know, that I wanted to go on as a kid, and I actually still want to go on that adventure right now. Well, I promise that's the end of the list, I promise. It's not a definitive list, my word is not final. So if you guys have any films that you would swap in or out, or just completely have a whole different favourite 10 movies, let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on the films that I've talked about, and let's have a little discussion. If you have enjoyed the video today, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.